What the mainstream media was afraid to tell you about the news this week. This week, while the mainstream media scoffed about a Christian black man forgiving his brother's murderer and giving her a hug, here are the things that happened that really matter. According to the New York Times, of all places, Shifty Adam Schiff knew about the allegations in the whistleblower complaint before the official complaint was filed with the Inspector General of the intelligence community. Which means Schiff lied when he told MSNBC weeks earlier that he had never talked directly with the whistleblower. Which means Republicans like Fred Fleitz were correct when they predicted that the House Intelligence Committee Democrats had colluded with the whistleblower before the complaint was made public. But did the mainstream media report this bombshell to you? No. After the New York Times dropped that piece, the mainstream media, TV networks either didn't talk about it at all, or they explained away Adam Schiff's lie and said he just should have phrased it more clearly. A Christian doctor in the UK was fired from his job for declining to call a 6-foot bearded man madam due to his religious beliefs on biology and gender. After he was fired, the doctor sued for wrongful termination and said he was a victim of discrimination because of his Christian beliefs. But a court in the UK ruled against the doctor, saying his Christian views and his scientific views on gender were incompatible with human dignity. But did the mainstream media report on this? Did the mainstream media ask, wait a second, where does this end? Will Christians in general be forced entirely out of the medical field if their religious beliefs are incompatible with human dignity? No, the mainstream media didn't ask that question. They didn't report on this story at all. Democratic Congresswoman Rasheda Talib told the Detroit police chief that he should hire only African Americans and not people of other races or skin colors. Yes, a sitting member of Congress said the government should discriminate against people based on their race and only hire people of certain skin color. But did the mainstream media report on this racism? Did they hold Talib account for this bigotry? No. The mainstream media didn't report on this story at all. New York City passed a law that will fine people $250,000 if they use the term illegal alien in a way that the New York City politicians think is derogatory. Yeah, if liberal politicians think you said the phrase in a mean way, they will fine you $250,000, which is obviously unconstitutional. But did the mainstream media report on this wild violation of the First Amendment? No, the mainstream media refused to cover this story at all. A young black girl accused 3 white boys of a racial hate crime at her school, the same school, coincidentally, where Second Lady Karen Pence teaches art class. The mainstream media jumped on this story originally. They were super happy to have a narrative that painted Christians and Republicans as racists and bigots and bullies. But then, the girl and her family admitted that the allegations were a hoax. They never happened. The girl made them up. The so-called hate crime wasn't real. But how many of the mainstream media outlets who rushed to cover the crime originally corrected the story when it turned out to be a lie? Barely any. The mainstream media doesn't care to report any of that to you, so we will. And that is my final point.